What most people are taught about manifestation is a reduction, a simplified version of a much deeper truth. You hear that everything begins and ends with mindset, that if you shift your thoughts, you will inevitably shift your life. You are told that thinking positively is the key, that visualizing what you want is enough, that repeating affirmations with conviction is the secret formula that unlocks abundance. And while there is a fragment of truth within that narrative, it represents only the thinnest layer of a vastly more complex system. Thoughts are not the engine of creation. They are not the spark that generates new timelines or the force that rewrites your reality. Thoughts are reflections, not origins. They are surface ripples, momentary echoes of deeper vibrations moving within you. They are commentators narrating your internal state, not creators sculpting it. The true frequency that shapes your reality comes from a much older, more primal, more intelligent part of you, your nervous system. The energetic field you emit at every moment, your baseline, physiological state, is what the quantum field actually responds to. Every second, your nervous system is broadcasting signals that reveal whether your internal world is open or contracted, receptive or defensive, expansive or braced for impact. And no matter how aligned your vision board is, no matter how poetic your affirmations sound, no matter how impressive your spiritual discipline appears, none of it overrides the signals your body is sending if those signals are rooted in threat. Because here is the truth that no affirmation can bypass. If your nervous system does not feel safe, if even a subtle whisper of danger is circulating through your body, you are not calling in miracles, you are amplifying chaos. You are manifesting things to manage, problems to solve, patterns to survive. You have lived through seasons like this, periods where you did everything right. Your journal was full, your meditation streak was flawless, your intentions were articulated with precision, your vision board radiated clarity. And yet nothing moved. Your external reality remained frozen, as if sealed inside a thick layer of energetic ice. It wasn't that your practices were ineffective. It was that you were layering them on top of a dysregulated system still operating in survival mode. The conscious mind was saying, "I am worthy of abundance," while the autonomic nervous system, the ancient, instinctive part of you, was transmitting something entirely different. Danger, contract, do not expand. And the quantum field, which responds not to language but to frequency, aligned with the signal your body was emitting, not the words your mind was declaring. We live in a culture that keeps people in constant hypervigilance, always scanning for the next crisis to prevent, the next issue to manage, the next responsibility to juggle. Your nervous system, magnificently primal, cannot distinguish between a literal predator and a demanding inbox. It reacts to a mortgage payment the same way it would react to a saber-toothed tiger. A difficult conversation can activate the same biochemical cascade as an immediate physical threat. And when that survival signal fires, even if subtly, the flow of receiving shuts down, the energy channels constrict. The field around you becomes cluttered with static. Miracles do not disappear, but you become temporarily unable to access the frequency where they live. Manifestation is not about speed or effort or intensity, it is about alignment. A regulated nervous system is a clear transmitter. A dysregulated one projects scrambled noise. When your system is filled with noise ruminating on past mistakes, predicting future catastrophes, micromanaging outcomes to create the illusion of safety you create from contraction, not from possibility. And yet if these words resonate within you, it means something in you already knows this truth. Some deeper layer within you has already awakened to the understanding that manifestation is not about manipulating the universe into giving you what you want. It is about teaching your body that it is safe enough to allow what you want to come in. Because the moment your system shifts into safety, genuine physiological safety, not imagined or forced mental safety, everything changes. Abundance stops feeling like something to chase and begins to feel like something that naturally drifts toward you. Love stops feeling like a risk and begins to feel like a homecoming. Opportunities stop feeling random and begin appearing with synchronicity that borders on the unreal. And once you recognize that your nervous system is not simply responding to your life but actively shaping it, you begin to understand why certain patterns repeat themselves long after you consciously want them to disappear. Stress is not merely an internal experience, it is an energetic broadcast. Every time your body shifts into defense, you are encoding instructions into the field for what should come next. Chronic stress essentially sends a vibrational message that says, "Give me more situations that require me to defend myself. Tighten, brace, and survive." This is why manifestation can become a loop, why you may find yourself reliving the same emotional patterns, attracting similar relationships, encountering familiar disappointments, or repeating financial cycles that echo the past. The nervous system is not only reactive, it is predictive. It constantly anticipates what will happen next and prepares your body accordingly, often without your conscious awareness. If you live in a state of bracing, waiting for the next disruption, preparing for disappointment, expecting things to fall apart, your body interprets that anticipation as directive. The quantum field begins arranging realities that match the emotional climate you unconsciously expect. Your stress stays high, not because life is cruel, but because your system is programmed to recreate what it knows. And that programming is not simply yours. You inherit patterns from your lineage. Epigenetics reveals that trauma responses can be passed through DNA. You may be carrying emotional frequencies that originated not in your life but in the lives of your ancestors, scarcity from generations before you, unprocessed grief from people you never met, vigilance born from their survival. These inherited patterns are not curses. They are protective adaptations, strategies encoded into your biology to increase the survival of the lineage. But here lies the miracle. What was inherited can be transformed. You can rewrite what your ancestors encoded out of necessity. You can create new templates, new baselines, new frequencies. A regulated nervous system becomes a portal, a transmitter capable of tuning your entire reality. When your system shifts from defense to coherence, your frequency changes instantly. The field reorganizes. The external world rearranges around your new vibration. Opportunities emerge. People appear. Solutions unlock. Synchronicities accelerate. Not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because you finally tuned your system to the frequency where what you desire already exists. Manifestation is not about forcing the universe to give you something. It is about becoming vibrationally compatible with what you ask for. You cannot vibrate at the frequency of threat while asking for abundance. You cannot carry the frequency of old wounds while calling in profound love. You cannot stay in contraction while seeking expansion. The real work is somatic, nervous system level, teaching your body to feel safe, teaching your chest to open, teaching your breath to deepen, teaching your energy to move outward instead of collapsing inward. When safety becomes your baseline, your frequency stabilizes. When your frequency stabilizes, the field responds. And when the field responds, reality shifts with a kind of effortless momentum. This is not metaphysical poetry. This is biology, physics, and energy. You manifest not from your thoughts, but from your state. And when your state becomes coherent, when your system is no longer transmitting tension and fear, your external world reflects that clarity. There is a quiet truth woven into the human experience that most people never uncover. Many of the sensations, fears, hesitations, and reactions moving through your body may not be yours. The anxiety that arises when you get too close to success, the hesitation that surfaces when something good begins unfolding, the tightening in your chest when life feels calm, these may not originate from your personal story. They may be echoes of threats your ancestors faced, woven into your physiology across generations. You may be manifesting from frequencies that predate your birth. You may be living inside somatic patterns written by people whose names you don't even know. And until you bring awareness to these deeper layers, until you recognize that your body may be responding to a world that no longer exists, you will continue creating futures shaped by the past. This is why people who do extensive inner work, journaling, meditating, healing their childhood wounds still feel blocked. Because beneath personal trauma lies ancestral trauma. Beneath individual pattern, les collectives imprint. Resetting your nervous system is not only healing what happened to you, it is healing what happened before you. It is rewriting the internal predictions that your lineage carried as truth. Because without interrupting those predictive loops, you manifest variations of the past, even as you consciously desire a different future. The trickiest part is that most people don't even realize they're in survival mode. Survival doesn't always look like panic. Sometimes it looks like subtle tension. The tightening in your body when you check your bank account. The way you rehearse conversations that haven't happened yet. The habit of staying 5 steps ahead to avoid surprise. The endless strategic thinking disguised as responsibility. And here is the truth that changes everything. When the body is in survival, it cannot receive, it can only defend. This is why nervous system regulation is not simply about calmness. It is about reopening the channel through which abundance, love, intuition, creativity, and synchronicity flow. You can affirm abundance, but if your body whispers threat, your words dissolve. You can visualize success, but if your system is trained to brace, you will unconsciously repel anything unfamiliar, even if it's good. Your reactions to goodness reveal everything. When someone genuinely praises you, do you soften or tense? When an opportunity arrives with ease, do you open or immediately look for the catch? When intimacy becomes real, do you expand or retreat? The body always reveals the truth, and the universe can only deliver what the nervous system can allow. The true question is not, how do I attract more? The true question is, how do I become safe enough to receive more? Because most stress does not come from circumstances. It comes from the relentless mental narration, the mind simulating threats, predicting outcomes, replaying memories, and imagining scenarios. Most people are not living in the present moment. They are living in imagined timelines created by thought. But the nervous system cannot tell the difference between real and imagined danger. To the body, a thought can be a threat. And the more time you spend in mental simulations, the more your body learns that safety is impossible. But the cost is enormous. You lose access to the field of infinite intelligence. Miracles do not arrive through analysis. They arrive through resonance, intuition, alignment. You cannot hear inner wisdom when your system is braced. You cannot receive guidance from the field when your energy is contracted inward. Everything you desire exists on a frequency your body must match. And that frequency is coherence, regulation, openness. A regulated nervous system is not just relaxed, it is receptive, it is clear, it is connected to higher intelligence. When you shift from survival to coherence, your entire reality rearranges. Opportunities become visible, people find you, solutions open, synchronicities accelerate. Not because the universe suddenly rewards you, but because you finally tuned into your true channel. Manifestation becomes inevitable, not effortful, because you are no longer creating from fear, you are creating from alignment. This return to inner safety is the root, the key, the foundation, because when you finally feel safe inside your own body, abundance recognizes you. Love finds you, clarity reaches you. Miracles move toward you with an ease that feels almost surreal. And for the first time, you are not forcing, not striving, not chasing, but allowing. They tell you manifestation is all about mindset. Change your thoughts, change your life. And while there is truth in that, it's only part of the story. Your thoughts are not creating reality. They are reflections, ripples on the surface of something much deeper, something far more profound that already exists within your system. Your thoughts are commentators, not creators. The real architect of your reality, the force that sculpts the field around you, is the frequency your nervous system broadcasts every single moment. That frequency determines whether you're aligned with expansion, openness, and flow, or trapped in the tight corridors of survival, contraction, and scarcity. Because here is the truth, no affirmation can override. If your body does not feel safe, if there's even a subtle whisper of threat running through your system, you are not calling in miracles. You are magnetizing more chaos to manage. You know those periods in life where you're doing everything you're supposed to do, vision boards perfectly curated, affirmations memorized, meditation streaks going strong, intentions crystal clear, and yet nothing changes? The external world remains unmoved. This isn't because your practices don't work. It's because you are layering them on top of a nervous system that is still in survival mode. Your conscious mind may declare, I am worthy of abundance, but your autonomic system, the ancient instinctive part of you, might be broadcasting something completely different. Danger, conserve, hide, do not expand. The quantum field does not respond to your words, it responds to your frequency, and your frequency is determined not by your thoughts but by your nervous system's state. We live in a culture that keeps most nervous systems stuck in overdrive, constantly scanning for what could go wrong, always preparing for the next problem, the next pressure, the next threat. Your body, magnificently primal, cannot distinguish between a predator and a stressful email. It reacts the same way to a life or death threat and a looming mortgage payment. When the survival signal fires, your energy contracts, your body closes off. Your channel to flow shuts down. Miracles do not vanish, they become inaccessible because you've disconnected from the frequency where they exist. Here's the shift. You do not manifest through grinding, effort, or speed. You manifest through alignment. A regulated nervous system is a clear transmission. A dysregulated nervous system is static noise. When you create from contraction, replaying past mistakes and catastrophizing future scenarios, you generate reality from fear, not possibility. True transformation isn't about manipulating the universe, it's about teaching your body that it is already safe. The moment your system settles, safety becomes your baseline, and everything shifts. Abundance ceases to be something you chase and becomes a natural state you gravitate toward. Once you recognize that your nervous system actively shapes reality, not merely reacts to it, patterns begin to make sense. Stress is not just internal, it's an energetic broadcast. Every time your body shifts into defense, you're encoding instructions into the quantum field. The universe does not respond to language, intentions, or mirror affirmations. It responds to vibrational frequency. Chronic stress says, "Give me more situations that require protection," creating a self-perpetuating loop. Your body anticipates threat based on past experiences, and the field responds accordingly. The nervous system has emotional memory. It catalogues every heartbreak, disappointment, and moment of betrayal. It can even inherit patterns from ancestors, as epigenetics research shows trauma responses can pass through DNA. Your grandmother's scarcity, your father's anxieties, your ancestors' survival instincts during war, famine, or displacement, these imprint on your biology. You may carry fears, hesitations, or contractions that never directly belong to your lived experience. These inherited patterns can keep you manifesting fear-based outcomes, even when you've done the inner work to heal personal trauma. Until you consciously recognize these inherited influences, until you teach your body that past threats no longer govern your present, you will keep creating from frequencies that no longer serve your life. The nervous system, when anticipating threat, changes how you show up. Your energy contracts, your presence tightens, opportunities sense it and mirror that contraction back. You experience exactly what your system tried to protect you from, not destiny, but self-fulfilling somatic prophecy. Healing trauma isn't only processing memories, it's updating your nervous system's threat database, teaching your body that the past is information, not instruction. Until you interrupt these automatic cycles, you'll continue manifesting variations of the same story. Survival consciousness can be subtle. Tension in your chest when checking your bank account, mentally rehearsing future conversations, compulsively strategizing to stay 3 steps ahead. This is survival energy masquerading as productivity. When your body is in survival, it cannot receive. Nervous system regulation isn't just about feeling calmer, it's about reopening the channel for manifestation. You can repeat affirmations endlessly, but if your body is broadcasting threat, your words dissolve into static. Visualizing prosperity is ineffective if your autonomic system is scanning for danger. You unconsciously push away anything that feels too good or unfamiliar. Recall a time something unexpectedly positive happened. A generous compliment, an easy opportunity, or intimate connection. Did your body open, or did it contract, reject, or distance itself? That's not a flaw. It's a nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. Coherence requires your mind and body to transmit the same signal. Imagine consciousness as a radio receiver. When present, embodied, and regulated, you tune into a clear frequency where inspiration, guidance, and synchronicity reach you. When lost in mental simulation, thinking about thinking, analyzing past and future events, you are static, pure interference. The transformative signals exist but cannot break through. Powerful insights often arise in the shower, on walks, or moments before sleep, not because of the activity, but because the analytical mind temporarily disengages, clearing the static. Living in your head constructs identity from tension. I must fix everything. Life depends on me holding it together. These are not just thoughts, they are embodied states that define your background frequency. The law of attraction does not respond to your goals or journal entries, it responds to this underlying frequency. Emotional stances often formed years or decades ago, sometimes in response to experiences you cannot even consciously remember, shape how you manifest today. Experiences of rejection, invisibility, disappointment, or fear of loss leave somatic traces that dictate your reality patterns. Two people may undergo the same event, yet the nervous system encodes it differently, producing different manifestation patterns. Your nervous system constantly scans for confirmation of existing beliefs. If it believes the world is unsafe, it interprets neutral expressions as disapproval, delayed messages as abandonment, and unexpected expenses as proof of scarcity. Reality becomes filtered through these programmed expectations, reinforcing contraction. This loop keeps people stuck, not because options are unavailable, but because their nervous system is calibrated to see only the frequency it knows. Manifestation is not about more effort or willpower. It is about somatic alignment. Drop out of thought and into sensation. Calm your system, reconnect with presence, and the field where creation happens becomes accessible. The mind interprets reality, the nervous system generates it. Miracles appear not for the overthinking mind, but for the body that is truly here. Mental simulation traps you in survival. Coherence unlocks access to infinite possibilities. Regulated nervous system, coherent frequency responsive field, transformed reality. Opportunities, guidance, synchronicities, and miracles emerge not because the universe rewards you, but because your body has tuned to receive. Safety is the foundation. Presence follows. Coherence emerges. From that state, abundance, love, clarity, expansion, and miracles flow effortlessly. Manifestation is not forced. It is the natural consequence of alignment, resonance, and readiness. Your past, inherited patterns, and survival mechanisms are information, not instruction. When your nervous system recognizes safety, it ceases to broadcast threat. The field mirrors that safety, and your reality unfolds in alignment with what you have always been calling into existence. The nervous system is the ultimate frequency tuner, dictating whether your life manifests from fear or possibility, contraction or expansion. Regulate your system, embody presence, and the miraculous naturally flows. Manifestation is not a mental exercise. It is the art of being embodied, the science of nervous system coherence, and the physics of frequency alignment. Align body, mind, and energy, and your reality responds effortlessly. Safety transforms desire into magnetism, allowing abundance, love, clarity, and expansion to enter your life. This is the path, not forcing, not striving, not resisting. Remember, reconnect, restore, and embody coherence, and the universe will reflect the frequency you hold. Safety first, presence second, coherence third. From there, everything manifests effortlessly, inevitably, and miraculously. Your autonomic nervous system will always prioritize survival over expansion. Always. It is wired to keep you alive, to protect you from threats real or perceived. This is not a flaw. It is an incredible evolutionary mechanism that has allowed human life to persist through millennia. Yet, the same system that ensured your survival can unconsciously restrict your capacity for growth, creativity, joy, and manifestation. If your body has learned that safety equals control, hypervigilance, or constant tension, then states like ease, openness, joy, and receptivity will register as threats even when your conscious mind desperately wants them. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you tried to relax or allow yourself to receive good things, only to feel an undercurrent of tension in your body? That tension is your nervous system speaking a language you may not consciously understand. It's saying, I do not recognize this as safe. Proceed with caution. Even positive experiences, success, love, abundance, can trigger survival mechanisms if your body has associated them with risk or exposure in the past. That's why conscious desire alone is never enough to manifest. If your body signals danger, the field responds to that signal, not your thoughts. The moment your body learns that it is safe to soften, safe to open, safe to release the need to control outcomes, that's when the quantum field can finally reach you. Think of it like electricity flowing through a wire. It does not need to be forced. It simply requires the removal of resistance. Safety is not a reward earned after you have achieved control or mastery. It is the doorway into regulation itself. When safety becomes your internal baseline, your energy stops collapsing inward and begins radiating outward. That is the moment reality stops pushing against you and starts reorganizing itself in your favor. Consider two people applying for the same opportunity. Both are qualified, both want it, but one walks in with a regulated nervous system and the other with chronic survival mode. The person in survival mode carries contraction in their body, slight tension in their posture, strain in their voice, and mental rehearsal of every possible mistake. Their energetic signature broadcasts, "I need this to feel safe," even if they articulate their qualifications perfectly. The other person, with a regulated nervous system, walks in grounded, present, and available. Their energy is open, their nervous system signals, "I am already whole. I can receive this." Even if both speak similar words, the field responds to the difference in frequency, the subtle, unconscious signal of presence and safety versus contraction and need. This is not about faking confidence or pretending not to care. It is about doing the actual somatic work to train your nervous system to feel safe in states of expansion, safe being visible, safe receiving more than your historical experience suggests is possible, safe trusting support from unknown sources. As the body internalizes this new blueprint, creation becomes effortless not because challenges vanish, but because contraction ceases to dictate your interpretation of reality. You stop surviving. You start co-creating. Your nervous system is not only reactive, it is predictive. It encodes past experiences and inherited patterns from ancestors, scanning the present for confirmation of expected outcomes. When your body anticipates danger, it modulates your behavior, presence, and openness, which in turn shapes external circumstances in a self-fulfilling cycle. Chronic stress, emotional tension, and hypervigilance become encoded as habitual frequencies that broadcast scarcity, contraction, and limitation into your field. Healing is therefore not only about cognitive reframing or emotional processing. It is about recalibrating the autonomic nervous system, teaching it that present circumstances do not require defense, that safety is available and accessible. One of the most powerful tools to accomplish this is breathwork, because breath is the bridge between conscious awareness and autonomic regulation. Unlike heart rate, digestion, or hormonal cascades, breathing can be consciously modulated. By intentionally changing breath patterns, you communicate directly with your nervous system, signaling safety, receptivity, and the possibility for expansion. Shallow, rapid breathing signals threat. Slow, deep, heart-centered breathing signals safety. The body does not question this. It responds automatically. Through repeated, deliberate practice, the nervous system begins to adopt a new default state, a baseline of safety and coherence from which manifestation is possible. The first breath frequency is receptivity. Inhale slowly into the heart center, not merely the lungs or chest, but the emotional core of your being. Expand into that space as if you are drawing energy inward to your center, cultivating a sense of inner expansion and readiness. Exhale slowly and intentionally from the same space, imagining your energetic field radiating outward. Visualize energy moving freely, dissolving boundaries, and creating openness. This is not a visualization exercise for the mind. It is a somatic declaration to your nervous system that it is safe to receive. Practice this breath several times, noticing resistance or contraction without judgment, gradually teaching your body that openness is safe and life-giving, not dangerous. The second breath frequency is release. Inhale into the heart center with attention and care. Exhale gently, Letting go, not forcing or shoving, but surrendering tension, old stories, accumulated stress, and emotional baggage into the earth. This is a somatic practice of unloading. Imagine the weight of unprocessed emotions, self-imposed pressures, and habitual patterns dissolving, sinking into the ground to be transformed. Your nervous system learns that holding on to tension is not necessary for survival. You are not your trauma, your stress, or your past. You are a being capable of releasing and creating space for new experiences. The third breath frequency is embodied safety. This breath integrates the sensations of openness and release, rooting them into your nervous system's baseline. Inhale into the heart center with the awareness that your internal space is safe. Exhale with the felt understanding that vulnerability is not perilous but fertile. Repetition of this practice reinforces the nervous system's new blueprint, that expansion, joy, creativity, and abundance are accessible, natural states rather than threats to survival. As your body internalizes these three frequencies, receptivity, release, and embodied safety, your energetic field stabilizes. Your frequency broadcasts coherence, which the quantum field responds to. Synchronicities, opportunities, guidance, and manifestations emerge naturally, not because you force them, but because your system is tuned to receive. The brain interprets reality, but the nervous system generates it. Miracles occur not for the one trapped in analytical thought, but for the one present in embodiment, aligned, and safe. This nervous system framework reveals why many spiritual teachings fail to produce lasting results. Affirmations, visualization, and positive thinking are ineffective if the body does not feel safe. Conscious intention without somatic alignment is like trying to transmit a signal through static. Your words and desires cannot penetrate the interference of a system entrenched in survival. Regulation precedes manifestation. Safety precedes abundance. Presence precedes miracles. Until the body consents, your conscious desires remain unmet. Moreover, the nervous system does not merely store personal trauma, it inherits ancestral imprints. Patterns from grandparents, parents, and lineage can encode scarcity, fear, hypervigilance, and protection as default frequencies. These inherited frequencies shape your energetic signature and influence your capacity to receive. Until these are recognized and recalibrated, you continue manifesting through inherited fear, not conscious choice. This is why some people can complete therapy, heal personal trauma, and still feel blocked. The deeper layers of inherited patterns operate beneath conscious awareness, steering creation according to outdated survival code. Manifestation is therefore not a matter of thinking differently, it is a matter of being different at the somatic level. It is about creating coherence between your conscious desires and your unconscious energetic broadcast. The nervous system becomes the bridge. Breathwork, somatic practices, and nervous system regulation teach the body that expansion, safety, and abundance are the default, rather than contraction, vigilance, and scarcity. With repeated practice, the system internalizes this new reality, and manifestation becomes effortless, natural, and consistent. When your system moves from contraction to coherence, your field reorganizes to match your internal frequency. Opportunities appear, guidance arrives, synchronicities multiply, and abundance flows without effort. You are no longer pushing, forcing, or manipulating outcomes. You are aligned with the underlying frequency of your desires. Challenges do not disappear, but your interpretation of them shifts. Tension no longer dictates action, and resistance becomes a signal to return to breath, presence, and regulation rather than to panic or over-control. In this state, manifestation is not about control, it is about attunement. Your body, nervous system, and energy field work as a cohesive unit, broadcasting safety, openness, and receptivity to the field. The universe responds to this frequency. Safety becomes the conduit through which desire transforms into reality. Abundance is no longer pursued. It naturally arrives because the channel is open, coherent, and ready to receive. The process is iterative. Each conscious practice reinforces the nervous system's new default. Each breath, each release, each moment of embodied presence strengthens the alignment between your desires and your energetic broadcast. Over time, old survival patterns, hypervigilance, contraction, scarcity-based responses soften and dissolve. Your system recalibrates to operate from expansion, presence, and availability. Creation becomes effortless because it is no longer filtered through fear or contraction. Every aspect of life is influenced by this internal frequency. Relationships respond differently, career opportunities appear in unexpected ways, and creativity flows unimpeded. Even ordinary moments become infused with synchronicity and ease because your energy no longer resists the natural currents of life. The nervous system's regulation becomes the foundation for a life that mirrors the coherence, openness, and safety you cultivate internally. In practical terms, this means daily attention to breath, intentional pauses, and somatic awareness. It means observing the body's responses without judgment, feeling resistance, and consciously choosing safety and openness. It means recognizing inherited patterns and gently retraining the nervous system to adopt new frequencies. It is not mental gymnastics, it is a somatic, energetic, and physiological practice. This is the missing link in the vast majority of manifestation teachings. Embodiment and nervous system coherence precede results in the physical world. Manifestation, then, is a science of being as much as it is a practice of intention. You manifest not from thoughts or visualizations alone, but from a body that feels safe, a nervous system that broadcasts coherence, and an energy field aligned with expansion. The bridge from desire to reality is built on the foundation of safety, presence, and nervous system regulation. Once you embody these principles, your life transforms. Synchronicities, guidance, relationships, and abundance flow naturally, because your field is now broadcasting the frequency that matches what you consciously seek. This approach dissolves struggle. It eliminates the need to force outcomes, manipulate circumstances, or strive in desperation. Instead, life becomes a co-creation in which your nervous system serves as the conductor, your breath as the signal, and your embodiment as the vehicle for manifestation. Safety, coherence, and alignment replace tension, contraction, and resistance. Abundance, creativity, and joy become the natural state of being. The path is clear. Regulate your nervous system, cultivate embodied presence, practice intentional breathwork, release old patterns, and create safety as the baseline. As you do so, manifestation shifts from an abstract concept to a tangible lived experience. You are no longer struggling to get what you want. You are allowing the universe to meet you where you are, in coherence, in alignment, in trust. The miracles that were always possible become visible, accessible, and effortless, because you have created the frequency that allows them to flow freely into your life. Those are things that happened to you, events you experienced, moments that shaped your history, but they are not the essence of who you are. Your body needs to learn that it can release those imprints without losing itself. That releasing does not mean dissolving, disintegrating, or falling apart. You can drop the weight, unburden yourself from the accumulated tension and emotional baggage, and still remain whole, still be you, still feel safe. This is a truth that the nervous system needs to embody, because for years, decades perhaps, it has been clenching, bracing, contracting, holding itself together through tension and hypervigilance. It has been keeping you alive, but at the cost of expansion, ease, joy, and receptivity. The body has learned to survive by maintaining a constant low hum of alertness. Every sigh you suppress, every moment of vulnerability you avoid, every time you told yourself, "I have to hold it together," has been registered by the nervous system as necessary for survival. And yet, this very mechanism, while protecting you in one sense, has been restricting the flow of life, creativity, and abundance into your experience. The practice of breath, presence, and embodied safety retrains the nervous system, teaching it that release, surrender, and openness do not equate to danger, they equate to life, flow, and connection. Begin this practice with a gentle breath, slowly, consciously, intentionally. Inhale as if drawing life directly into your heart center, the emotional core of your being, not just your lungs or chest. Feel the expansion, the opening of space inside your chest. Let your body rise slightly with the inhale, then exhale slowly, allowing gravity to do its work, letting the tension sink down through your torso, your legs, into the earth below. Do this 5 times. Notice any resistance that arises. Perhaps there is discomfort, sadness, anger, grief, or even relief. These are simply emotions your body has been holding, waiting for permission to move. Do not judge them. Do not attempt to analyze or make sense of them. Let them pass through naturally. Your job is only to breathe, to provide space, to witness without interference. The nervous system is clever. It does not need rational explanations. It learns through felt experience. This is why breathwork is far more effective than mere intellectual acknowledgement or affirmations alone. When the body feels safe to exhale tension, when it feels the release is allowed and contained, it begins to understand a new paradigm. I can let go without losing myself. I do not have to carry everything to remain whole. I do not have to hold tension to maintain cohesion. And that is profoundly liberating for a system that has spent decades bracing against the world. As you practice this release breath, notice the subtleties. Sometimes you may feel warmth, tingling, or a subtle lifting sensation. Other times, heaviness may move downward through your body. Some may find tears spontaneously emerging. Some may notice shifts in temperature, emotional waves, or deep relaxation in muscles that have been chronically contracted. Others may initially feel nothing. This is entirely normal. The body releases at its own pace. The key is consistency, repetition over intensity. 5 conscious, intentional breaths each day, done with awareness and gentleness, layer upon layer, begin to restructure the nervous system's internal blueprint. The third breath in this sequence is the breath of embodied presence. Draw breath into the heart center as before, but as you exhale, anchor yourself with the recognition, right here, right now, I am safe. Not safe after everything is resolved. Not safe in some imagined future where conditions are perfect. Safe now, in this exact moment, just as you are. This statement is potent because it communicates to the autonomic system a fact of the present rather than a promise of the future. Your nervous system does not need guarantees, it needs evidence. This breath interrupts the habitual patterns of mental time travel, the mind's tendency to replay past traumas or anticipate future catastrophes. Right now is all that exists, and in this moment, you are safe. Repeating this 5 times with attention and presence allows the nervous system to settle into reality rather than imagined threats. Your cells, tissues, muscles, and core absorb this truth. Safety becomes tangible, somatic, and integrated. Consistency is the secret that most people overlook. You do not need to practice for hours. You do not need transcendental experiences or dramatic emotional releases. Daily repetition, small, intentional moments of practice, builds a new default operating system. Opening, releasing, returning to presence, 5 repetitions of each. Once or twice daily for just 5 to 10 minutes, retrain the body in a way words cannot achieve alone. Over time, the baseline of your nervous system shifts. Your body begins to understand that receptivity, expansion, and the capacity to receive are not threats. They are natural states for which you were designed. The external world begins to respond accordingly, not because of force, manipulation, or clever strategies, but because your energetic broadcast has changed. The field responds to coherence, not chaos. As this internal regulation becomes more stable, something fascinating happens. Your tolerance for misalignment decreases. Jobs you could endure before may now feel intolerable. Relationships that were passable may no longer align with your energetic baseline. Habits that once defined your daily routine might dissolve effortlessly. This is not destabilization in a negative sense. It is recalibration. Your life is reorganizing to align with the frequency you now inhabit. Old structures built on survival consciousness cannot sustain the energy of your regulated state, and they naturally dissolve, leaving space for experiences, opportunities, and relationships that are congruent with your new baseline. This recalibration process illuminates why nervous system work is more than self-help. It is identity transformation. It is the creation of a self who does not compromise on energy, who no longer overrides intuition, who can discern what is aligned and what is not without fear. It cultivates an individual capable of saying no to what does not serve them and yes to what is right, even when discomfort arises. This embodied, coherent version of self is precisely the version to which the universe delivers miracles, synchronicities, abundance, and guidance. Manifestation becomes a natural consequence of presence and alignment rather than an exercise in effort or willpower. To anchor this practice, pause and feel your connection to the physical body. Notice the weight of your feet on the ground, the pressure of your body on the chair or floor. Allow your awareness to expand into the physical reality of being here. Then, internally or aloud, make this declaration: I am safe to receive. This is not merely an affirmation, it is an energetic signal, a conscious interruption in the habitual loops of contraction and hypervigilance. It communicates directly to the field, to the nervous system, to the body, that a new frequency is being chosen. By consistently returning to this declaration, you are not only soothing your nervous system temporarily, but you are rewriting the foundational frequency that shapes your reality. The nervous system's response to safety is immediate and profound. By repeatedly practicing these 3 breaths, opening, releasing, returning to presence, you are teaching your body to operate from a state of coherence rather than tension. The autonomic system gradually stops scanning for imagined threats, stops bracing, stops collapsing inward. Energy radiates outward naturally. Synchronicities, guidance, and abundance begin to appear in alignment with your internal state, not your mental striving. This is why conscious desire without embodied safety rarely manifests. The field responds to the nervous system, not the mind. In practice, this work invites daily commitment. Set aside moments where you can breathe into your heart center. Notice resistance without judgment. Release old stored patterns and affirm safety. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes before bed, or even small repetitions during the day when you notice tension are sufficient. Layer these practices over weeks and months, and your baseline will shift. The body will integrate a new operating system in which receptivity, release, and presence are habitual. Your energy field will broadcast coherence. Your nervous system will signal safety, and reality will respond with alignment. As your system stabilizes in safety, you begin to notice subtler shifts. Conversations flow with ease. Obstacles previously insurmountable appear as opportunities for learning or growth. Relationships that align with your frequency deepen naturally, while those that do not begin to dissolve without effort. Life begins to feel less like a struggle and more like a co-creation. You stop forcing outcomes, stop performing to survive, and instead inhabit your true state of being. Your body, mind, and field harmonize, creating a foundation for effortless manifestation. This nervous system work is not isolated, it is profoundly relational and even collective. Each nervous system that moves from contraction to safety contributes to the coherence of the collective energetic field. The more individuals who embody presence, safety, and alignment, the more the collective consciousness shifts, amplifying possibilities for synchronicity, abundance, and well-being on a larger scale. In this sense, personal regulation is also planetary work. Every breath, every moment of presence, every release contributes to a shared field of coherence. Ultimately, this practice is about identity transformation, not temporary relief. It is about teaching your body that it can be safe, present, receptive, and expansive at all times. It is about creating a baseline where life no longer triggers constant defensive contraction, but instead allows flow, creativity, joy, and co-creation. Through consistent breathwork, attention to bodily sensations, and affirmation of safety, the nervous system rewires, the field responds, and your life begins to reflect the alignment you have cultivated within. By integrating these practices, you transform not only your internal experience, but your external reality. Opportunities, abundance, relationships, and experiences align with your frequency naturally, without force or manipulation. The life you consciously desire is mirrored back because your body, nervous system, and energy field are coherent, safe, and ready to receive. Consistent, gentle, Intentional practice is the bridge between unconscious survival patterns and a life of conscious co-creation, where miracles, synchronicities, and abundance are not exceptions but the natural order of being. This practice, repeated daily, gradually dismantles the old identity built on tension, survival, and hypervigilance. It replaces it with a coherent, embodied identity capable of expansion, alignment, and effortless manifestation. The breaths of opening, releasing, and presence become more than techniques. They become the foundation of a new operating system for your life. With patience, gentleness, and consistency, the nervous system internalizes safety. The energy field broadcasts coherence, and the universe responds, delivering the flow, alignment, and miracles that have always been available to you. Now, let's bring this home, because everything we've explored leads to one undeniable conclusion. Manifestation is not something you force into existence. It is not a strategy, a mental trick, or a relentless pursuit of outcomes. Manifestation is something you become available for. It is something that happens naturally when your internal state is aligned with the energy of creation itself. Availability, in this sense, is entirely a function of safety. Your nervous system must recognize that it is safe to expand, to open, to receive, before the universe can respond to the frequency you are transmitting. You cannot manifest from contraction, from fear, or from hypervigilance. These states are necessary for survival. They served you in moments of threat, but they are antithetical to creation, flow, and ease. You do not attract miracles by chasing them. You attract them by becoming the version of yourself that no longer needs to chase. The version of yourself whose presence, coherence, and calm radiate a frequency that naturally draws aligned opportunities. The moment your nervous system exits survival mode, the moment your body learns that expansion is safe, the universe stops sending situations designed to test your survival instincts and starts delivering experiences that match your new frequency. This is not wishful thinking or magical thinking. It is physics, it is coherence, and it is the natural law of resonance. The universe mirrors the internal state you embody. Imagine for a moment the difference between someone who is chronically in survival mode versus someone who is regulated. The first individual is constantly scanning for threats, second-guessing decisions, and rehearsing outcomes before they even occur. Every interaction is filtered through fear, anxiety, and tension. Opportunities may arise, but they are often missed or sabotaged unconsciously because the body is sending signals of contraction and scarcity. Energy is trapped, creativity is blocked, and life is interpreted as a series of challenges to overcome rather than a flow to engage with. In contrast, the person with a regulated nervous system moves through life differently. They trust their intuition and act on inspired impulses without needing to overthink, predict, or control outcomes. Their body feels safe, so they respond to the world from a state of openness rather than contraction. They can say yes to opportunities their survival-based self would have resisted. They communicate clearly because their messages are not filtered through fear or anxiety. Their creativity flows effortlessly because they are no longer interrupting themselves with internal criticism or self-doubt. They make decisions faster, rest more deeply, and experience life in a state of receptivity that allows synchronicities, support, and abundance to appear naturally. Manifestation, therefore, is less about effort and more about signal. The field responds to coherent energy, not to frantic action or intellectual planning. When your internal state is consistent, aligned, and safe, you become magnetic, not in a vague or mystical sense, but in a real, tangible, measurable way. People are drawn to your presence. Opportunities show up without chasing. Resources appear seemingly out of nowhere. The interference, the static caused by fear, contraction, and hypervigilance, has been removed. You are now a clear signal, broadcasting receptivity and openness. The universe can finally deliver what has been waiting for you all along. This is the essence of nervous system regulation. It allows your internal state to become the baseline from which everything else flows. When you integrate these practices, the results are not only external, they are deeply internal. Your body stops interpreting normal life events as threats. Your energy no longer collapses inward at the first sign of stress. Your nervous system knows how to return to safety, even amidst external chaos. And when your body feels safe, the mind can relax, the heart can open, and the flow of life can be received without resistance. The invitation here is not merely to experiment with a breathing technique today and forget it tomorrow. It is to make nervous system regulation your new baseline, to make this practice non-negotiable. Reset your body daily. Rewire your energetic field consistently. Train your nervous system to recognize that joy, ease, safety, and the capacity to receive are not luxuries or rewards. They are your birthright. When this becomes your default, manifestation ceases to be something you do and becomes something you are. An effortless expression of your true self, unimpeded by survival programming, fear, or tension. The quantum field already holds everything you have ever asked for. It is already arranged, already available, and ready. The only question is, will you meet it from a place of contraction, tension, and fear, or from a place of coherence, safety, and trust? Understand that this is not about perfection. You are not attempting to achieve a state where fear, stress, or activation never arise. That is neither realistic nor necessary. Life will continue to present challenges. Your nervous system will activate. That is normal. That is human. The difference lies in resilience, not the absence of activation, but the ability to return to coherence quickly, repeatedly, and without judgment. When the foundation of regulation is in place, stress no longer holds you hostage. You acknowledge activation without resistance, place your hand on your heart, take a conscious breath, and signal to your nervous system that it can return to safety. This creates a feedback loop. The body feels safe, the mind feels calm, and the field responds to this coherent signal. Over time, this becomes your baseline. The nervous system internalizes safety. Life reorganizes to reflect that internal state. The world stops presenting endless survival scenarios because your system no longer reacts as if every situation is a threat. Consider the practical implications of this in everyday life. You approach conversations, meetings, or negotiations from a grounded, centered place. Instead of over-analyzing or fearing rejection, you engage fully, speak with clarity, and listen with presence. Your intuition guides decisions, and actions flow naturally without forcing outcomes. Creativity is no longer blocked because the inner critic has been quieted by the nervous system's sense of safety. Sleep improves because the body knows it does not need to remain vigilant. Energy is freed to move outward instead of being hoarded for survival. As your internal baseline shifts, you may notice that what was previously tolerable suddenly feels misaligned. Relationships, jobs, or habits that you once accepted passively may no longer fit your new frequency. This is a natural part of the recalibration process. The nervous system's new standard of safety, coherence, and expansion will not settle for anything less. What may feel destabilizing at first is actually the universe clearing space for alignment with your evolved state. The old structures built on survival cannot contain this new energy, so they dissolve, making room for experiences, people, and opportunities that resonate with your new self. Breathwork is central to this transformation. The three-part sequence, opening, releasing, and returning to presence, serves as a direct communication with your nervous system. By breathing consciously into the heart center, exhaling with intentional release, and affirming safety in the present moment, you teach the body a new operating system. Opening teaches the nervous system that expansion is safe. Releasing teaches the body that letting go of old patterns does not result in collapse. Returning to presence teaches the body that safety exists in the here and now, independent of external circumstances. It is crucial to understand that consistency outweighs intensity. 5 minutes of intentional breathwork daily is far more effective than an hour once a month. The nervous system learns through repetition and experience, not through mental reasoning. Small, daily practices build cumulative change that transforms both internal experience and external reality. Your energetic field becomes coherent. Opportunities align. Resources appear. Synchronicities multiply. These shifts happen effortlessly because the interference has been removed, not because you forced any outcome. As you integrate these practices, notice the subtle, profound changes. Decisions are made more confidently. Conversations flow with less friction. Creativity arises naturally. The body rests, rejuvenates, and feels alive in ways that were previously inaccessible. Life feels lighter because the weight of chronic tension, overthinking, and hypervigilance has been released. You become the embodiment of availability, and the field responds accordingly. Sharing this work multiplies its effects. When someone in your life is trapped in survival mode, helping them integrate these practices not only supports them, but reinforces your own embodiment of coherence. Energy is contagious. Each nervous system moving from survival to safety contributes to the collective field. As more individuals embody safety, presence, and alignment, the collective frequency shifts. Manifestation becomes a shared phenomenon. The field responds to coherence at both the individual and collective level. Finally, recognize that this is a lifelong practice, not a destination. There will be days when regulation feels effortless and days when it seems impossible. There will be moments of remembering and moments of forgetting. That is part of the process. What matters is return, not perfection. Each conscious breath, each intentional exhale, each affirmation of safety strengthens the foundation of your nervous system, deepens your coherence, and expands your availability for life to respond in alignment with your true frequency. Choose your energetic signature deliberately. Decide moment by moment what frequency you wish to broadcast. Drop a word, a phrase, or an intention that represents the state you are committing to embody: safety, openness, joy, presence, abundance. This declaration is not a hope for the future. It is an energetic choice in the present moment. By aligning your nervous system, your energy field, and your intentions, you create the conditions for effortless manifestation. The universe already holds all that you desire. It is simply waiting for your coherent signal to activate the flow. Manifestation is not a task. It is the natural unfolding of life when you operate from a baseline of safety, coherence, and presence. When the nervous system knows it is safe to expand, to open, to receive, everything aligns effortlessly. Opportunities, synchronicities, and abundance appear not because of struggle or strategy, but because the interference has been removed. You have become a clean signal, a coherent presence, a body in alignment with its true frequency. The quantum field responds naturally, reflecting back to you the reality that corresponds to your internal state. From this point forward, the choice is yours. Will you meet the flow of life from contraction, fear, and hypervigilance? Or will you meet it from coherence, presence, and trust? This practice is not about perfection or constant ease. It is about return, recovery, and availability. Each moment of conscious breathwork, each intentional return to safety, each practice of presence strengthens the foundation of manifestation from within. Life does not need to be forced. The field does not need to be manipulated. Alignment, coherence, and embodiment are the keys, and they are accessible to anyone willing to practice consistently, gently, and with intention. Your nervous system, your body, and your energy field are not passive observers. They are active participants in creation. When they are regulated, when safety is internalized, the world responds naturally. The flow of opportunities, abundance, and experiences that has always been waiting can finally enter. You are no longer blocked by contraction, fear, or hypervigilance. You are available, you are magnetic, you are coherent. And manifestation, in its purest form, becomes not something you chase, but something you are, moment by moment, breath by breath, choice by choice. Not just to stay connected to the channel, but to stay coherent, to stay aligned, to remain in the frequency of transformation. This is not merely about tuning into some abstract concept or fleeting spiritual idea. It's about embodying a state that fundamentally reshapes your relationship with life. Every moment you practice nervous system regulation, every intentional breath, every conscious return to safety, you are broadcasting a new signal into the world. And that signal doesn't exist in isolation. It ripples outward, affecting the people, situations, and circumstances around you. The more of us who embody this truth, the more the world begins to mirror it back. Your internal alignment creates external resonance, and what may once have felt impossible suddenly starts to appear with ease and fluidity. This work is not solely personal, it is collective. Every choice you make to regulate your nervous system, to step out of survival patterns, and to embody safety contributes to the collective frequency of humanity. Your coherence sends waves outward, creating subtle permission for others to do the same. In a sense, each regulated nervous system acts as a node of transformation. The ripples intersect, overlap, and amplify one another, creating a network of aligned energy that makes broader shifts possible. You are not just changing your own life, you are participating in the evolution of the field itself. The universe has been listening all along. It has held space for your growth, for your transformation, and for your availability to the things you have been asking for, consciously or unconsciously. But there is an important distinction. The universe responds to availability, not desperation, to presence, not tension. If your energy is contracted, if your nervous system is signaling survival, scarcity, or fear, the field will respond in kind. Opportunities, resources, and synchronicities will be filtered, delayed, or distorted. Conversely, when you choose safety, when you choose coherence, when your energy communicates trust and openness, the universe responds by providing alignment. This is why it's essential to ensure that the signal you are broadcasting matches the frequency you want to inhabit. It is not enough to desire abundance, love, or creativity while operating from contraction, hypervigilance, or self-doubt. The signal you send must be consistent with the reality you wish to experience. Safety, receptivity, and trust are not passive states. They are active frequencies. When you embody them, you align with the underlying structure of reality, and your ability to receive, co-create, and manifest naturally increases. This is your moment. Transformation does not require waiting for tomorrow, next week, or some future point when circumstances appear perfect. It happens here, now, in the present moment, in the body, in the choice to return to safety. The breath you take, the awareness you bring, the attention you give to your internal state, these are the acts through which miracles unfold. Manifestation is not about forcing outcomes or manipulating circumstances. It is about becoming a vessel through which alignment naturally flows. Your coherence, your internal stability, your nervous system regulation, these are the magnets that draw reality into resonance with your state. Once your nervous system has stabilized and you are broadcasting coherence instead of survival, you begin to notice subtle, often overlooked signals from reality. The universe does not respond randomly or haphazardly. It communicates through synchronicities, signs, and confirmations that indicate alignment. A chance conversation, a coincidental meeting, or an unexpected opportunity may carry significance beyond its surface appearance. Recognizing these signals changes everything about how you navigate life, because you begin to move from reaction to flow, from confusion to clarity. The breadcrumbs the universe leaves are not random, they are your guideposts, your confirmation that you are resonating with the right frequency. Understanding and interpreting synchronicity is transformative. Once you attune to the language of the field, you can follow the unfolding path with confidence. Instead of forcing outcomes or struggling to control circumstances, you move with the currents that are already aligning with your energy. The field is constantly responding to your coherence, and when you learn to read its subtle cues, your experience of reality shifts from linear effort to effortless flow. This does not remove challenges or obstacles, but it changes the way you engage with them. Decisions become clearer, opportunities more apparent, and your sense of timing aligns with the natural rhythm of manifestation. This process is cumulative. Each act of returning to safety, each conscious breath, each moment of nervous system regulation deepens your coherence and strengthens your signal. Over time, you inhabit a state of alignment that becomes self-sustaining. You no longer experience reality primarily through the lens of survival. Instead, you operate from a place of trust, presence, and availability. The field meets you there, delivering support, resources, and experiences that reflect your internal state. In practical terms, this means that everyday life begins to feel different. Decisions are made with clarity and confidence. Creativity flows naturally because fear is no longer obstructing it. Relationships are navigated with more presence, understanding and connection because reactivity has diminished. Even challenges, rather than triggering panic or contraction, become opportunities for growth and alignment. Synchronicities, guidance, and support appear in ways that are unmistakable when your nervous system is operating from safety rather than survival. What may seem like small, subtle shifts in perception or energy are actually profound indicators that your internal state is shaping external reality. Every regulated breath, every conscious choice to return to coherence, every moment you embody safety contributes to a cumulative effect that transforms both you and the field around you. This is the essence of living in alignment. Your nervous system, your energy, your consciousness, and the universe are working together in a coherent dialogue, creating a life that responds to the frequency you are actively broadcasting. Ultimately, this is a practice of availability, trust, and embodied presence. It is not about perfection or constant ease, but about returning to safety, recalibrating your nervous system, and aligning your signal with the reality you wish to experience. When you do this consistently, you not only transform your own life, but you contribute to the evolution of the collective field. Your coherence, your stability, your choice to remain aligned reverberates outward, creating permission and inspiration for others to follow. Manifestation, flow, and transformation are no longer distant aspirations. They become the natural expression of your presence, your energy, and your willingness to inhabit safety and coherence in every moment.